What's up, movie lovers? Today we are going to discuss a 2012 American slasher film called Smiley. At the beginning of the movie, a girl is seen laying on a bed with a cell phone in hand. A little girl scares her using a scary mask, then goes over to her computer and starts chatting with someone. It is revealed that the older one is babysitting the little girl. When the babysitter inquires who the girl is talking to, the girl replies that she's on an online chatting site called Hide and Go Chat, where anonymous people from all over the world video chat. The babysitter advises the girl not to use these kinds of sites. The girl then tells her the urban legend of Smiley, a serial killer, who mutilated his own face by stitching his eyes shut and carving his mouth into a smile. She tells her that if the person on the other end writes, "I did it for the lulz," 3 times on the chat, Smiley appears behind you and kills you. When she goes to her house later, the babysitter goes online on Hide and Go Chat. There, she meets a guy with glasses. While chatting with her, he types the message, "I did it for the lulz," thrice. As a result, Smiley appears behind her and stabs her through the back with a knife, killing her instantly. A college student named Ashley is dropped off at her new college by her father. She comforts him and tells him she'll be fine before bidding him goodbye and walking away. Inside, Ashley meets her new roommate called Proxy. Proxy tells Ashley about a new party and invites her to it. Ashley decides to go and gladly accepts her invitation. At the party, Ashley meets teenagers Zane and Mark. Proxy spots a nerdy-looking guy and informs Ashley that he is Binder, a guy from their college campus. She then urges Ashley to go talk to him. While Ashley is talking to him, Zane and his friends interrupt their convo. He calls Binder Pedo Bear and asks what he's doing there. When the party mob finds out that Binder is Pedo Bear, they all start bullying and humiliating him, thus forcing him to leave. Ashley asks Proxy what the deal was with Binder and Pedo Bear. She is told that Binder was given this name because of reporting some messed up stuff on the board. Proxy agrees that some of the stuff indeed is messed up, but it's not smart to say so. The next day Ashley wakes up to realize she's run late for her class. When she arrives at her class, Professor Clayton is asking why this particular lecture is a requirement. While her professor is talking, one of her classmates asks the girl beside him if she has a pen. After taking the pen, he remarks, "You smell better than I do," which makes the girl laugh. The professor turns his attention towards the disturbance and asks the boy his name, which he reveals to be Mark. The professor asks Mark to answer the question that he had interrupted. Mark hesitantly says that the class is a requirement because they have to take it, which makes the whole class burst into laughter. Ashley then correctly answers the question and the class continues. After the class, Ashley stops the professor in the hallway and apologizes for being late. She then asks him if she could get all the assignments for the ongoing semester beforehand because she likes to be prepared. The professor tells her that she can find the assignments on the website but tells her she should learn to relax since she's now in college. After college, Ashley comes back to her room where she's greeted by Proxy. Ashley tells her that her head is still spinning from the booze of the previous night. Proxy tells Ashley that in her drunk state, Ashley did lots of crazy things. Ashley gets greatly embarrassed, but Proxy calms her down, saying there's another video on the internet that the students will be busy talking about, thus they won't pay attention to her. Proxy plays the popular video which shows a boy sitting in front of the camera. He's trying to read something written on his cheek when Smiley appears behind him and stabs him under the chin, killing him on spot. The video leaves Ashley baffled. She asks Proxy if the boy is really dead, to which Proxy says that there is no way to find out because no one knows who the boy was and he also hasn't come online since. Ashley thinks about calling the police but Proxy advises her against it, saying they don't know anything about the boy. She tells him they neither know who he was nor do they know if he really died. After a little argument, they settle on the fact that the video has to be fake because it's not possible for someone to just appear from nowhere and kill someone. Assuming the legend is fake, they think about trying it themselves and agree on it. They start looking for someone to try it on and choose a candidate after looking through a few people. They write the message, "I did it for the lulz," thrice into the chat. After a few seconds, the guy on the other side is actually killed by Smiley. Both the girls completely freak out for killing someone and hastily next him. Ashley starts crying and blaming herself for the guy's death, but Proxy calms her down and convinces her to keep this a secret. Just then, Ashley gets a phone call from her dad. While Ashley talks to her dad, Proxy keeps an eye on her, trying to make sure she doesn't spill. After getting off the phone, Ashley assures Proxy that she wouldn't tell anyone. The next day at college, Ashley still feels haunted by her actions. After college, Ashley goes to the library where she bumps into Binder. They start talking and exchange numbers before parting ways. When Ashley arrives at her dorm, Proxy comes out all dressed up and tells Ashley that they are going to a party at Zane's. At the party, Ashley accidentally spills her drink. Proxy tells her not to worry, as they're getting free drinks, and gets her another cup. She then goes to the bathroom, leaving Ashley behind. Ashley spots Zane and Mark in the crowd. She goes over to them and tries to talk, but Zane humiliates her with a made-up lie. Ashley brushes it off and brings up his friend, whose murder video got viral online. Zane and his gang laugh it out, saying that he is probably pulling a prank on them. Ashley asks if they have seen him and learns that they have not. She remarks it could actually be real, but the boys ridicule her and leave, leaving only Zane behind with her. Zane pulls her away from the crowd and takes her to the pool outside to talk to her secrecy. He asks her what she saw, to which Ashley tells him about watching the video. Zane presses to know if she tried it herself, but she doesn't tell. Zane confesses that he did, and as a result, a kid was killed. This upsets Ashley so much that she pukes. She declares she needs to home. Zane offers her a sleepover or a ride home, but she declines and starts to walk home with a spinning head. Drunk and scared, she keeps walking to her house. While walking, she hears something behind her. She looks back but sees nothing there. When she turns around again, Smiley is standing in front of her with a knife in hand. She sprints towards her dorm and reaches it just in time. She gets in and hastily shuts the door. However, to her horror, Smiley is already inside the house. He tries to grab her, only finding her shirt instead and ripping it in the act. She tries to get inside a room but finds them all locked. Smiley charges at her and she wakes up in her bed, screaming her lungs out. Proxy rushes into the room and asks if she is okay. Ashley tries to explain that Smiley got her, but Proxy assures her she must have been dreaming. The concerned Proxy asks Ashley if she is on any psychiatric medication. At first, Ashley says, no, but then adds, not anymore. Ashley consults with a psychiatrist later that day. The doctor puts her on medications for anxiety. After getting out of the psychiatrist's office, Ashley meets up with Proxy and goes over to Zane's. There, Ashley finds out that Zane is a hacker. Ashley convinces Zane that Smiley might just be an evil entity. In her next class, while her professor is giving a lecture on supernatural phenomena, Ashley finds a drawing of Smiley in her notebook and freaks out. As her professor addresses her, she rips the drawing out and gets rid of it. After class, she requests her professor to speak with him for a moment about said supernatural phenomena, but he declares he's in a hurry and leaves. While she's doing research at the computer lab all alone, Binder comes to her, scaring the living hell out of her. He looks at her computer and asks her what she's doing. They end up talking about Smiley. Ashley reveals that she killed someone, which seems to shock Binder. He tells he also tried, but nothing happened. Ashley tells him that for it to really happen, you actually have to want them to die. Due to her Smiley nightmares, Ashley isn't able to sleep and ends up looking through hide and go chat. After nexting a few people, Ashley finds Smiley at the other end. She tries to find out what Smiley is, but he doesn't tell her and starts scaring her instead. Proxy appears behind Ashley and strictly prohibits her from getting involved in it anymore. Ashley, however, is unable to get Smiley out of her mind. Every now and then, she would hear voices that make her lose control over her mind. While sitting in the library, the voices drive her so mad that she breaks her laptop by continuously banging it on the table. She then yells at the people looking at her out of frustration. Driven to the point where she completely starts believing that Smiley is real and is coming after her, she goes to the police to explain the situation. The officer at the station hears out her story, but as predicted by Proxy, he does not believe her and starts thinking she needs mental help. The officer simply advises her to see a psychiatrist and refuses to write the complaint. Ashley goes to the psychiatrist, completely messed up. This time, the psychiatrist prescribes her a tranquilizer so that she can sleep. Later that day, Ashley meets with Binder. Binder gives Ashley his old laptop, which he states is in perfect shape. The two end up making out, but Proxy soon enters the room and Binder leaves. Proxy tells Ashley that she is going over to her parents to cool her mind off and take a break from all that has been going on. Ashley encourages Proxy to go and enjoy her time, assuring her that she'll be alright. They hug and say goodbye, before Proxy leaves. At night, Proxy video calls Ashley and tells her that Zane is not picking up his phone. Initially, they come to the conclusion that he might be hooking up with some girl, but then start freaking out thinking Smiley could have gotten to him. Proxy thinks about calling the police, but Ashley thinks that it is a bad idea with what happened before. Ashley tells Proxy that she would take Binder with her and check up on Zane. Proxy agrees to let her go with Binder, but still tells her to be careful. Ashley reaches Zane's house and knocks on the door while calling out his name. When she knocks again, she finds out that the door isn't locked, so she goes straight in. Inside the house, music is playing and it's completely dark. Ashley picks up a torch lying on the floor and starts looking around. The place seems to be completely trashed. Ashley walks into the room with the computer, and there, lying on the floor is Zane, covered in blood. On the computer screen, Smiley appears and waves at Ashley. Out of frustration, Ashley picks up the monitor and throws it on the floor. She picks up the gun from the floor and runs away. While walking towards her house, Ashley calls the officer whom she had told about the serial killer. The officer picks up the phone, but the line gets cut off. Ashley goes inside her house and informs Proxy that Zane is dead. Proxy suggests calling 911, but Ashley declines and makes Proxy write the line, "I did it for the lulz," thrice. After a few minutes, someone comes up to the door and Ashley points the gun at it. The person opens the door, and Ashley immediately shoots. The person falls on the floor in front of the door. When she goes over, she finds out that she had accidentally shot Binder. She sits beside him, crying and saying that it will be fine. But Smiley appears and slits Binder's throat. After witnessing this, Ashley runs inside the house and into her room, closing the door behind her. She stands in front of the door pointing the gun at it. Smiley appears behind her. She tries to shoot at him, but the gun doesn't work. The door then opens and more Smileys come inside. Unable to take the terror and agony anymore, Ashley jumps through the window. She lands on the ground with a thud, breaking her neck and dying on spot. All the Smileys take off their masks to reveal the people who had faked their deaths, including the babysitter, Zane, Mark, and even Binder had faked his death. They start talking about Smiley, who will be the first online serial killer and who won't be forgotten. Binder makes the call for everyone to leave and they all do except for Zane, who is talking with Proxy. Proxy asks Zane, "Why did we do it?" As a response, Zane types, "I did it for the lulz," thrice as a joke, but Smiley appears behind Proxy and stabs her through the eye, instantly killing. He then waves at the screen and closes the computer. With this, the movie has ended. Thank you so much for watching.